What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. We continue to give you predictions for each SEC team. South Carolina is up next. We're going to give you 5 different sources and compare those predictions here in this video. South Carolina, a team that I personally think could be one of the top 25 teams in the country, but their schedule's brutal, and I don't think they can get through this schedule and finish the season ranked in the top 25. Even though I think that this is going to be a pretty good football team. Here is that schedule, and we had it rated the #1 toughest schedule in the country. I think I've seen some other places that had their schedule rated the toughest as well. There's really no break besides Charleston Southern. In the non-conference, North Carolina, you got App State, a very good group of 5 team, and then Clemson. So 3 brutal games there. And then in the SEC, they have to play Alabama out of the West. That is going to be a tough one. And then on the road at Texas A&M, it just doesn't get much tougher than that as you look at this schedule. So where do you find the wins? It's tough. I mean, it's possible this team won't even make a bowl game this year, even if they beat North Carolina, Charleston Southern, App State, Vanderbilt at home. That's 4 wins, and then you got to get 2 more just to get to a bowl game. That means you might have to go on the road to beat Missouri or beat Kentucky or go on the road to beat Tennessee. Just a really, really tough schedule, and it's a shame too, because I think South Carolina had some pieces this year to where they could have had a really good team, and I think they will have a good team, but can they get through the schedule? I said the same thing about LSU last year, and they surprised me and had a real solid year, so we'll see if South Carolina can do that. But I do have this team going 6-6, and if you want to get more on our predictions, just head over to the main channel. I did a prediction video on South Carolina, went through every game, and went much more in depth on my personal predictions for this team. But yeah, I think 6-6 is pretty realistic for this team. 7-5 I think would actually be a real good year with that schedule, but 5-7 is possible. So I kind of went in the middle there at 6-6. I think they get to a bowl game, and who knows, maybe they pull off an upset somewhere along the way. Again, sometimes when teams have schedules this tough and they're so desperate for wins, they can sometimes get in there and pull off an upset, and we've seen that happen in the past. And our NCAA football simulation alluded to that. They had this team going 9-3, upsetting both Clemson and Alabama. They get them both at home. It wouldn't shock me if they pulled off one of those upsets. It would shock me if they pulled off both of those upsets. But yeah, they had them at 9-3, finishing number 3 in the division. I was surprised that they came out that well, but they did. And if you want to see our simulation on South Carolina, you can find that over on the main channel as well. You can see highlights from all the games, the scores. There were some crazy ones in there for South Carolina. I think they maybe beat Clemson in overtime. Alabama was a crazy finish. There was a lot of exciting games. If you want to go check that out, again, it's over on the main channel. And we've shown some of the full games here over here on this channel. What about Athlon Sports? What do they have for South Carolina? They've got them at 6-6, same as me. They have them at 3-5 in the SEC. So that seems to be the obvious choice. They're going to lose to Clemson in the non-conference, but they'll win the other non-conference games. So they have them at 6-6, but they don't go game by game. So who will they lose to? Well, they're tied with Tennessee in their standings at number 4. They have South Carolina and Tennessee both 3-5 in the SEC. Well, they have South Carolina ahead of Tennessee, so that at least tells you that they have the Gamecocks beating Tennessee. But that's really all that we know. But yeah, Athlon has been pretty accurate in the past. I compared predictions last year, my predictions, and some other sources, and I believe Athlon actually won. I think they had the most accurate predictions. I'm going to see if I can beat them this year. But the FBI has his team at 6-6 as well. We did a complete FBI breakdown on South Carolina here on this channel, if you want to go back and watch that. But they're only favored in 5 games, so that means the FBI is picking them to pull off an upset somewhere. But if you just go individual games, they are underdogs in 7 games, only favored in 5 games. So they are not expecting this South Carolina team to have an easy road at all. And I don't know if they were, I think they were rated the toughest. Yeah, they had the toughest schedule according to the FBI as well. They're underdogs against Tennessee on the road, according to the FBI. That's a big surprise there. And then the other 6 games, Missouri, they're underdogs there at just 41%. They actually have a 42% chance of beating Florida. They have a better chance of beating Florida than they do Missouri and Tennessee, according to the FBI. But that's just something to look at there. And what about Vegas? They've got them at 5.5 wins. So if you're going to bet on this team, you would bet over or under that. that's very tempting because you feel like this team is going to get to 6-6. They're going to get to a bowl game, but maybe Vegas knows something that we don't. Maybe they think this team's going to go 5-7. They're trying to tempt you into going over, and then they know that this team actually is probably going to go 5-7. That's interesting. Again, Vegas knows what they're doing. They make a lot of money, and we have seen in the past these spreads and these win totals and all that have been very accurate. So that's interesting that they are that low on this team. So 6-6 seems to be the mark when you look at all the predictions. Of course, our simulation was much higher, but 5-7 definitely a possibility, and we will see if they can overcome that. But I want to know what you guys think about South Carolina. Give me your predictions down in the comments below. What do you think their record's going to be? Do you think they might surprise some people, pull off some upsets, or do you think it's going to be a disaster, and with this schedule they wind up missing out on a bowl game? Again, give me your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on our SEC Football channel.